Am I live? Ooh, I'm live. Look at that. Hey, everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. Well, I wanted to say Monday evening, but whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And now I'm going to do that thing where you just sit and talk to yourself for like ever until people show up. Oh, look at that. People show up. Ha! All right. Cool. Oh, hello again, Nicole. For those of you who are Patreon supporters, well, you're probably quite sick of seeing me because we did like a 2.5 hour live stream earlier today where I mixed the first draft of the June single, which comes out in June. If you couldn't have, guessed. So yeah, why am I live streaming again? Well, I'm live streaming again because I have a new single that is coming out on next Friday. Yes. It's called Dead Zone, and I'm super duper proud of it. And I want to ask all of you guys to help me get it to the charts or to the top of the charts again, because if you remember, we were actually able to get Automaton like at the top of the charts all over the world, which is just, like completely unheard of for an unsigned, unmanaged band, right? So yeah, I'm here because I want you guys to help me get it to the top of the charts again. Yes. So what I will do is drop the pre-save link into the chat. And if you want to help me out, you can do so. All right. Well, if that's my spiel. That's my whole lecture. That's all I got right now. So if you want to talk about anything else, you just let me know. Otherwise, I can just like keep rambling about iTunes for, like ever, basically. Yeah. This looks like a hazy IPA, but it is not. It's just pineapple juice. You've already pre-saved it. What is wrong? Like, I think YouTube is not pushing this out to the world. It's weird. It's very weird because there's like a handful of viewers and we have like, I don't know, close to 40,000 followers. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you already pre-saving it. And of course, those who pre-order it, it's always tough to talk when you're like reading the comments. And I'm also on this new software, so I'm just kind of like trying to make sense of like everything that I'm looking at while I'm trying to talk and be entertaining. I hope that I'm at least like slightly entertaining. No? Okay. Good. Right. So the pre-save, the pre-saving is really, really great. It helps artists get pushed to the top of Discover Weekly. I'm going to say charts. it helps artists get pushed to the top of like Discover Weekly playlists. Obviously, the amount of saves and the amount of listeners that an artist has overall per month influences inclusion on like not just algorithmic playlists, but like curated playlists. So yeah, like pre-saving and pre-ordering are really just some of the most important things in the music business right now, which, kind of makes what we were able to achieve last month just really incredible. Because, somebody actually wrote me and accused me of buying these spots on iTunes. They were like, oh yeah, you can just buy like a number one spot in the iTunes charts for $15,000. It's like, okay, cool. So I charted in 10 different countries in 10 different categories or something, or different countries in like 10 different categories. And so that would be something like $150,000. Do I look like I have $150,000? I'm wearing pajamas. Okay. Yeah. So, that was pretty funny, but it really does sort of get to the heart of everything, because it really shows that you can make a dent, and you don't need to have a bunch of money behind you. You don't need to like know all the right people. You just need to have an awesome group of fans who are willing to support you. So it's really annoying that YouTube is not sending this video out to more than 24 people, but oh well, what are you going to do? All right. There seems to be a small amount of audio lag to the video. It's weird. I think it's the I tried this new thing where I actually like logged into YouTube from my streaming software. So like it pushes it to YouTube automatically instead of using like a stream key. I think I'm not in favor of this because, for one, it's totally not notifying my like 40,000 followers, subscribers, and it is totally lagging on the audio, and the chat is weird. I don't know, like Joey was a big proponent of doing it this way, but I think I just much prefer using the stream key and going that route. But hey, you never know unless you try. All right. How do you feel about YouTube Music as a streaming platform? To be honest, I don't really know much about it. I know that my distributor automatically pushes music to YouTube Music, and that I see, a couple of bucks every month from it. It's really not any kind of it's not really like an important thing in the music industry right now, which, it kind of sucks because actually just below Spotify, as far as I can recall, YouTube is actually the place where where people consume most of their music, right? So, but they're doing that on YouTube free. They're not doing it like on YouTube Premium or anything like that. So it's a weird disconnect, right? Because if the major, or like, a huge swath of the population are listening to their music on YouTube, but they're not subscribed to YouTube Music, so you don't really get the benefit of that as an artist. It's kind of a bummer, but really, like, I'm of the mind that music is worthless. I mean, it is just like in 2021, nobody gives. They give a shit about music, but nobody wants to pay money for music. Like, from a strictly like economic point of view, music has no monetary value, which sucks. And I know a lot of artists get really bummed out when I talk about this, but it is absolutely true. If you try to make a living off of like music royalties, you are gonna not succeed. And YouTube pays. Is that why they're throttling me? Because I'm about to say this. YouTube does not pay very good royalties. Like, a lot of people complain about Spotify royalties, but Spotify really, in terms of like the big 10, 20 something like platforms that there are, they pay about middle, right? So they're not the best, they're not the worst. YouTube is certainly way down there, and it's just it just is what it is. Listen to music on whatever platform you want. It doesn't really make a difference financially. However, in the music industry, right? Like, so in the hearts and minds of the people who choose what bands make it and what bands don't, Spotify and iTunes charts are incredibly important. And that's why I'm always pushing you guys to pre-save and pre-order stuff in advance, because everything that we collect, like on everything, like every download or every save that we get before the release date actually counts on the day that the album drops. So it doesn't matter if you got 10 saves on Monday, 10 saves on Tuesday, or whatever, 10 days leading up to release. The only thing that iTunes or Spotify sees is that X band got like 100 pre-saves or purchases on their release date. Like, so it compounds. It's really awesome. And that's how like guys like me get into the charts. But since it is so hard to actually get people to buy music these days, the fact that there are artists that have small but super dedicated fan bases who are like willing to go out and purchase the music, to pre-save the music, to do all of that kind of proactive stuff to support the bands that they love, that is really a sign to all the big shots in the music industry that this might be a band worth paying attention to. And I got a whole lot of emails opened and a whole lot of buzz from the fact that Automaton did so well, because it just doesn't happen today. This does not happen. And, it's all thanks to you guys. So I'm super, super grateful for everyone who, went out of their way to buy the single, to pre-save it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm really, really hoping that we can do it this time. Dead Zone is listed as an alternative, so it's categorized as an alternative song. So it's not metal. There's no guitars. Don't worry, it's a purely electronic song, and it's really hard to get up there in the alternative charts because it's just a much bigger pond, right? So metal pond's a little bit smaller. Alternative pond is very big. So if we can actually get Dead Zone to the top of the alternative charts, like, that would be wild. So I'll drop the link in here again. Be super grateful to all of you guys for that. That's true. We are also having a super duper secret early listening party this Friday for all Patreon supporters. So if you are a Patreon supporter, be sure to keep an eye out on your inbox tomorrow. I'm going to be sending out the links to the listening party. Of course, we will be having an online release party just like we did with Automaton. Hopefully, we will have some special guests, and we'll just hang out, have some drinks, and watch some music videos, shoot the shit, whatever. April 9th is a long wait. Well, it doesn't need to be that long, because if you are a Patreon supporter, you get to hang out and listen to it with me on this Friday. I mean, wow. What could be better than that? Oh, I know what's better. I send you a zip file of the song on Monday for free, just for being a Patreon supporter. Doesn't matter if you are supporting at $2 a month, or if you're supporting at the highest tier, you get the single a week early before everybody else, just because I love you. Industrial country when? I'm kind of riding my industrial pop wave for the moment. Who knows what the future holds, though. I'm a real big fan of I like sort of like classical country, but there are modern country music artists that I really like. I mean, Orville Peck is probably like one of my favorite contemporary artists, and he's country as hell. He's like amazing. I love Orville Peck. Unrelated to the current topic, but will you keep working with the Polyvox? Did you become good friends with it yet? Yes, the new song Dead Zone features the Polyvox in it. It is being used in a number of sounds on the song. Like I said, it is a fully electronic song. It's really something that I wanted to try for a really long time, which was making a song almost exclusively with analog synths. So can't really see it here, but most of the song is this bad boy, the Dreadbox Erebus, and it's got some Axis Virus on it, and it's got the good old Polyvox. There it is. Actually, you can look at it right there. Look at that. Wow. It's beautiful. Oh, I'm beach balling. Why are you being weird, computer? There we go. And we're back. All right. I got scared for a second. Yeah, so there's a lot of Polyvox in that. There's a lot of Erebus in that. There's a lot of Virus in it. There's very little soft synths. I don't know what's going on in the other room, but I think somebody's getting murdered. Sounds like a bone saw. Yeah, so a lot of that stuff in there. It's pretty cool. The song is very much sort of influenced by 90s pop, like Garbage and Bjork and all the stuff that I grew up listening to. So it's really a big departure from like anything that I've done in the past. But I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really, really stoked on it, and I hope that you guys are too. How do you feel about the time schedule that you have when putting out a new single every month? Is it stressful? I mean, everything's stressful, right? Like, being on tour is way more stressful than this. I mean, look, there's pros and cons to everything, but I just kind of realized that I was spending a good amount of my time here in lockdown, like not completing anything. Like I worked on a ton of music, but I never finished anything. And when it started looking like we were going to be locked down for another year, sort of like October, November was when I really started thinking about this. I was like, look, if I'm not going to be able to tour for a year, I can't just like sit here and do nothing. So I got this bright idea to, not only hold myself accountable and force myself to, actually do shit. I wanted to give all of you guys something to look forward to because, music is a really, really important part of our lives. And even though I'm saying that it has no monetary value, that doesn't mean it doesn't have like immense existential value, just because you can't buy love, love has no monetary value, right? But love is like super important to us as human beings. So, music is like that, right? And I thought that if you guys are not able to go to concerts, if you're not able to have like those types of musical experiences, that it would be nice for me to take this sort of leap of faith and give you guys something to look forward to every month and give myself some feeling of purpose, like something to do, And I think it's been really, really good so far. It is absolutely stressful. The May song Gravity just got finished yesterday. It has to be turned into the distributor on Friday. So, it's always like a race against the clock. Everything's done at the 11th hour. You're just constantly like trying to stay afloat. But, it's also really exciting, and it's creatively cool too, because, you get to just sort of trust your instincts. Like there's no time or luxury of overthinking stuff. And I think anyone who's an artist knows how tough it can be to like get out of your own way and just like let your creations create themselves. When you have like unlimited time and unlimited resources, you can just sit and tweak and fiddle and just do whatever the hell you want for like 10 years. And I was so on my way to doing that, in 2020. But I set this deadline for myself, and it's just like, look, the song is as done as it can possibly be. It's just gotta go. It's out the door. You don't even get to think about whether or not it's a great song, right? You're just like, okay, this is done. It's gotta go. On to the next one. And I think that in the long run, you're gonna see like a big progression over this year. Like I think because I'm working so hard at becoming a better songwriter and a better lyricist and a better singer and a better producer, just like all of these things like take up the majority of my time these days. And I'm really curious to see like what kind of singer, songwriter, producer I'm going to be at the end of this as I was like when it began. Like hopefully, we'll see progression there. Hopefully. Hey, Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible broke fan and mostly only buy full albums. All the best, though. That's totally okay. If you don't have any money, you can go to my Bandcamp and download all my music for free. All the music that I control. That's a little asterisk that comes after it. Like, so the music that I do not control, anything 2015 and before, I can't give you that. But any of my songs or any of my releases that are on the Close to Human Music label, you can have it. You just go to Bandcamp, just put in 0 there, and you get the music for free. This is really for Patreon and asking people to buy the song on iTunes is really for the people who are not struggling right now. If you're doing okay and you want to help support an artist like me, sign up for Patreon. Buy my stuff on iTunes. I'm super grateful for that. But if you're struggling and you just need some new music to listen to help you kind of cope with life, please, by all means, go to aestheticperfection.bandcamp.com or the other way around, bandcamp.aesthetic, whatever. Just Google Aesthetic Perfection Bandcamp. It's there. All of my Close to Human releases are free. Just take it. And if you have a Spotify account, you can pre-save it. That's free. Just saying. It's great to be a member of the Imperfect Society. I highly recommend joining. Thank you, Nicole. That is very kind of you. All of my Patreon supporters are very awesome. You're all great people. Roz, Nicole, Ada, Zayas, all you guys. This is a German question, but I'm going to answer in English. What went through your head during the production of the new song? The song is really kind of about my struggles with depression and mental health issues. It's really about trying to kind of survive the growing pains of becoming who you want to be. So it's basically trying to like realize your idealized version of yourself, trying to figure your way out of, whatever rut you've stuck yourself in. So, a lot of people don't know that I was very, very unhappy the last couple of years. During the last couple of tours, I was struggling a lot, very, very miserable. Couldn't even really tell you why. It was just an incredibly hard time for me. And I think a lot of a lot of those emotions are sort of coming out now. Like I'm finally learning how to deal with them and articulate them and, make sense of them. It's, when you're in it, you don't often understand why you feel what you feel. But with a little bit of hindsight, you get some perspective and maybe some understanding. So Dead Zone's just really kind of all about, how I was feeling the last couple of years, seemingly being like on top of the world, but just, never feeling worse. You are spoiling us with so many good singles this year. Love it. Thank you. But don't worry. I'm also doing this for myself. It's not an entirely altruistic endeavor, but it is also not an entirely selfish one too. I believe that this is something that, is great for both me and all of you guys. And I'm just grateful to be in this position where people love my music and they want to listen to it. It's like that's why you do it, right? Like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I just make music for myself and I don't care what other people think." Well, I think that's bullshit. I think we all care about what other people think. I think we're all sort of like longing for belonging. We're all looking for our tribe, so to say. We're all looking for people to understand us and validate us and all of that kind of stuff. And certainly no different for me. I put my music out there because like I want to feel like I have purpose and matter. But also seeing that like what I do is helpful and useful for people. Also, it's very humbling and motivating and makes me feel quite like, I don't know, responsible. Like you got to do a good job. There's people counting on you. Like I feel that way sometimes. So I very much see it as like as a symbiotic relationship, right? It's like I need you guys and maybe you need me a little bit too. For what do you use the Digitech Whammy? The Whammy is there it is. So the Whammy is my pitch bend wheel for the Polyvox because the Polyvox doesn't have a pitch bend wheel. So I just use that and I play it with the delay. So it goes from the Polyvox into the Memory Man and then it goes into, or is it the other way around? No. Okay. I switched it. So it goes from the Polyvox into the Whammy. So that's your pitch bend wheel. And then it goes into the Memory Man, which is turned off right now. But yeah, it's fun. I've spent a lot of time like trying to make, get everything like set up the way that I want to use it. I still like move things around a lot. Try not to buy too many things, but I guess on lockdown I got a little crazy. I bought too much shit this year, but I just bought the Complete Control 49. I've been like eyeing this for years. And my studio still smells like the new plastic, which is very exciting, but this has literally been my main controller for like 3 years. This is like all I've used to write music, and it is so horrible and annoying. Like, it is a nightmare. So, since the jack on the USB got like loose, and it just like every time I would touch it, it would disconnect from Logic, my software, my music software. I got like super pissed off and I was like, fuck this thing. And I just bought this on a whim, and I'm just so glad I did. It's like I can actually play chords again, It's like I can actually play two-handed and play chords and be just like, oh, I'm a real musician. It's so nice. It's so nice to feel like a real musician. Need that t-shirt? You can get that t-shirt. That t-shirt is at www.closetohuman.com. Boom. And if you use the code not Kitting. Come on, do it. You can take 15% off your whole order. Tell him Daniel sent you. Tell Daniel I sent you. Are you going to do any more songs with Nyx? Nothing is currently in the works. She's doing her own thing, working on her own record right now. And of course, like me being in LA and her being, me being in Austria and her being in LA, it's just not anything that is currently possible, but we never know. How many songs do you have and work on for the future? I write down random things and later add and edit and revisit. So I used to spend like 6 months to like a year, like writing songs. Now I don't do that. My typical sort of method right now is that I come up with an idea and I just do it as fast as I can, right? So it's like I'll work on something super intensely for like 2 weeks and I'll try to get it mostly done. And then I'll put it away for like a month and then I'll come back to it and try to finish it like in a couple of weeks after that. So I feel like it gives me a bit of perspective. Usually when you're working on something and your whole like being is invested in it, you lose perspective of the big picture and you're just fiddling with all the minor details. The song Happy Face, which is coming out in June, is like this perfect example of that. I was like miserable writing that song just because I couldn't get the production right. Like, and I was like, it needs this hook, it needs this, it needs that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And after like 3 weeks, I finally gave up on it. And I was like, song's going in the trash. Of course, it didn't go in the trash. But yeah, I came back to it like 6 weeks later or whatever. And I was like, sat down for 5 minutes. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. So I basically I found the missing piece to that song within 5 minutes after stepping away from it for like 5 or 6 weeks. So this is like my new method. Write very fast, throw everything you can at a song, and then come back and then sort of like, it's like you're a paleontologist and you're excavating the dinosaur bones, right? It's like you're sitting there like, I don't need that. That's the bone. So you're like excavating your song out of all the dirt you've thrown on it. Sell me the broken one, please. You want this? You can buy a brand new one that works really, really well for $99. I really don't think you want this. You really don't. Almost pulled the trigger on a 5-string Ibanez bass. Decided against it. I want a new surfboard. Man, I have been thinking about buying a 5-string Ibanez bass for so long. I'm just like the biggest Ibanez fan like in the world. I'm not even very good at it. But bass was my first instrument, so I just have like I have a soft spot for it. Oh, it's tuned down. It's like, that sounds weird. Oh, it's in drop D. Yeah, that's the thing is like, oh yeah. They're way cooler souvenirs than my shitty controller. If you want it, send me an email. But I love this. This is my baritone guitar, and I'm so bad at guitar. But I write so many cool riffs on it, and then I get people who are better guitar players than I am to like make the riffs sound good. But you got to have the baritone. I love the baritone. Ibanez again. Love it. Like, oh man, the riff for the May song, Gravity, is just like, it's so gnarly. It's so good. And I played it like so trash. It's like so shitty. And then I sent it to Sebastian. And that dude just like ripped it. He's made it so good. The industrial pop video is awesome, by the way. Thank you very much. It's surprising because like when I first dropped it, it didn't get a whole lot of hate, right? Like it didn't get a whole lot of negative feedback, but now it's like growing more, and it has way more views than I sort of anticipated. I thought it'd get like 1,000 views, and then that would be it. But holy shit, I think it's like close to 3,000 views now, which is pretty big for like my, sort of just talking videos, which I do for fun. And like people are really pissed, which is great because it means, everything I'm saying is true. Industrial does need some element of danger, some element of transgression to make it like even remotely relevant, right? Or at least like have any sort of thread that ties it to the past. So, yeah, I think industrial pop is one of the many paths forward. I think it is a very good path forward. Not many people agree with me, but that's okay. I'll let history decide. Hello from Germany. Have you regretted moving to Austria yet? Why would I regret moving to Austria? I know you are creating music independently. Are you completely independent, or are you still producing music for the previous label? I do not create music for labels. I've never done that. I will never do that. If a band that I like comes to me and says, let's work on a song together, I do that because I like collaboration. But I only do that with bands that I like, and I only do that when I feel like the collaboration will be something like productive and interesting. Like a lot of people write me and say, hey, just write me a song. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that because it's, I don't know. Like for me, it's really all about the art. Like art is the most important thing to me. And again, it's funny, in a world where like music is worthless, art really does have to be the most important thing, because if your art sucks, nobody else is going to spend the money on your Patreon or your t-shirts or anything that like artists need to survive in 2021. So I have very little time. I have very little patience for bad art. So that's really, it's really it. I'm not doing any remixes or production work this year just because of how crazy time intensive this project is. So, maybe next year I'll start writing with bands again, but this year it's all about me. I don't want to play it. Yeah, just send me an email. I'll get you the thing. I don't want it. That guitar is hot, not gonna lie. Yes, I love it. And I have more guitars in LA. It's like if I have one vice, it's like buying guitars, and I'm not good at playing them. I'm just not. But I love playing them. They're so fun. It's like, and then I bought a Les Paul because I really wanted to be Jimmy Page, right? So it's like first started grabbing a guitar, and I'm trying to learn like Zeppelin songs, and they're like super hard. And then was like, okay, I'm going to buy an electric guitar, and of course I'm going to buy a Les Paul because I want to be Jimmy Page. Oh, so bad. Oh. The Ocean is my favorite Led Zeppelin song, and the riff on that is so gnarly. Could you play something nice for us? No, not really. None of these things are going into the speaker. The thing doesn't go. So you wouldn't ever want to be on a major label? That's a complicated question. The answer is yes and no. I have no interest in signing with a major record label if I'm just going to get pushed to the side and have my record shelved. Shelved is when, you produce a record that they pay for, and then they decide that they don't want to release it. I wouldn't do that. However, if I become desirable enough, I would have the clout to negotiate like a contract that I would find interesting. So in a perfect world, I would self-produce a record or with a team of my choosing. I would have no label interference whatsoever. I would make a record. I wouldn't take any of their money. I would self-finance the whole friggin' thing. And I would let the label have an option on it. I would let them say, okay, we want to release this or we don't. And we don't want to release it. You can release it yourself. But if they want to release it, cool. Minimal investment. Just promote the damn thing and see what happens. But I would not sign any 5-contract deal, whatever. I would be totally open to making one record with a major label under my own terms, just to see what happens. Because it's if you have the opportunity to be on the radio, you do it, right? Don't be stupid. But that's it. Any indie label comes knocking on my door, no, go away. I have no interest in you. I'm talking Sony, Warner Brothers, EMI. Those are the only ones that I would even have a meeting with. Everybody else, I'd just be go away. Without a label, do you work with organizations to plan a tour? So I have a booking agent here in Europe. We work very closely. I discuss the routing and venue sizes and everything with them. Up until last year, I booked all of my tours myself. So I was the guy picking up the phone, calling the promoters, routing the tours, renting the vehicles, doing all of that kind of stuff. However, the success of my last North American tour that I, booked and promoted and did all that stuff myself, that did really well. And a fairly big agency said that they wanted to book me to book me from now on. So I'm totally fine with somebody else taking that out of my hands. We're now working with 33 and West across the entire globe outside of Europe. And unfortunately, we haven't really had the opportunity to book tours with them yet, obviously because of everything that's going on. But I'm very, very optimistic about the future with them. So. What's the process nailing down venues? It's not that hard. So I typically book my tours when I would do it myself. I'd book them 18 months in advance. 18 months. That's because I want the venues that I want. And since I've been doing this for so long, I'm like personal friends with all of the promoters. So like I know them. I just pick up the phone and call X, Y, or Z in New York, X, Y, or Z and blah, blah, blah. And then they help me like nail down the local venues if they're not the people that own the venues themselves. So it's not that hard. It's just really, really time. It's a time sink, right? So it's not like it's hard work. It's just time intensive work. But it's great because you get to keep all your money. People don't seem to realize like the more people that you work with, the more fingers go in the pie and the less pie you get to eat. And money really is the name of the game right now. It's like you don't make money off of music, right? It's like you make money off of touring, off Patreon, off merchandise, all that kind of stuff. So I try to be as mindful of all of that as I possibly can. Would be cool if you would make a video demonstrating all the different effects pedals and knobs in which you use to achieve certain sounds in certain songs. I can absolutely do that. And I do Watch Me Work episodes every single month for my Patreon supporters. Today, we spent 2 hours mixing the June song, Happy Face. And I'm totally open to doing a live stream where I show like how all of this stuff works and how I get the sounds that I do. If you're interested in that, maybe check out the patreon.com/Daniel Graves. And I would love to do that kind of Watch Me Work episode. As a consumer, fuck the labels. I hate it when I find an artist I enjoy and then I can't listen to them because it's not available in my country. Labels are an absolute scam. It's like everybody wants to say that Spotify is a scam. Bullshit. Labels are a scam. Especially now. Do you guys know what a 360 deal is? Because I'll tell you. The current version of a record label deal in the last, I want to say 10 years or so, it's what's called a 360 deal. So like 360 degrees. So not only does the label get a cut of the sales of your recorded material, right? So the material that they helped you finance to create, manufacture, distribute, promote. Okay, fine. They get a cut of that. No, because the music sales have gone so far down the toilet, they force young, naive, hungry artists to sign 360 deals, in which case they get a cut of the touring, a cut of the merchandise, a cut of literally every single source of income that artist has. If they have a fucking Patreon, the label gets to stick their grubby little fingers in that. Man, labels are a fucking racket. No way. Fuck that. Yeah, fuck that. At least Spotify Spotify pays you a royalty for the use of your song on their platform. That platform is free. Don't forget that. Like a platform that distributes your music worldwide. The largest music platform in the entire world has just expanded to another like 70 something countries. It is like the most ubiquitous service for listening to music on planet Earth. And this service is free and they pay you a royalty and that's it. And when you really break it down, like what a record label would pay you for the sale of one CD in the like golden age, right? So it was some shit like 17 cents per song, okay, of a sold physical CD. That's like 40 something streams. So people need to like get out of my ear with this like streaming is piracy or streaming is No. Labels are a racket. They screw artists. They always have. Maybe Spotify should pay us more money, but whatever. It's like way better as it is now. Please come to Seattle, Washington again. Yes, we come to Seattle, Washington every single time we tour. It's one of our favorite markets. Internet help kill or ruin the music business? I'm conflicted. The music business was absolutely saved by the internet, and it was placed in the hands of the artists. It is so much better to be an artist today than it was ever before. Like ever. I'm so glad I'm alive right now in the internet age so I can do all of this, so I don't need to like ask a label's permission to wear my shirt or wear my hat or talk to my fans or do whatever. Like I'm allowed to run my own business the way that I want to run it. Screw labels. Love the internet. That's it. Though I imagine the marketing for streaming services, you're pretty much at the mercy of the algorithm. And do you know how we game the algorithm? Go to Spotify, follow me, follow all of your favorite artists. When the algorithm sees you following artists, it matters. And it makes sure to serve those artists to not only you, but other people that are around you who have similar music tastes. So you are helping the bands you love by following them on Spotify. You want to help them even more? Save their songs. And you want to help them even more? Pre-save their songs. And you can pre-save my new single, Dead Zone, right now. You can also pre-order it. You'd be doing me a massive favor. The way that you game the algorithm is you get your actual flesh and blood fans to go and click around in their platform, because all these people really care about is your attention. Don't forget that in 2021, the most important thing in the world to all of these businesses is your attention. They want you on their platform and they want you never to leave. That's how this works. So if you are an artist like myself and you are sending your fans to Spotify, to YouTube, to iTunes, whatever, and they're engaging with the music, they're saving the music, they're sharing the music. Oh, yeah, we should probably continue to serve that artist in the algorithms because that artist promotes the hell out of our service. It's called the attention economy. It is like all that matters right now. So really, you want to help me out? You want to help out all your favorite bands? Save that shit on Spotify, download it on iTunes. You control the algorithms. You guys do this. Yeah. A band like Cell Dweller will put out a song every week to keep showing up on playlists. That is part of why I'm releasing a song every single month. I think a song a week is too much. And the reason is because if you're constantly promoting something different, you will get lost in the noise. You'll get lost in your own noise. From my experience, the refresh rate of like a person's timeline, so you see a completely different timeline, completely new timeline every 3 to 4 weeks. So that's why I was like, okay, I'll release a new song every 3 to 4 weeks. I can hardcore promote one song for an entire month. And then as soon as that fucking drops off and goes away, then I have something new to promote. And like my streams are going through the roof. In the last 4 months since I started releasing music this regularly, I've doubled my Spotify listeners. I've something like gained like 15 or 20% of followers on Spotify. So these numbers are not nothing. And, you know, I see my Spotify income go up from that. I mean, it's not enough to live on, but, you know, it's all about sort of spreading yourself out and, you know, taking as much as you can from here and there and all that kind of stuff. So it's gaming the algorithm. If you know how the algorithm works, you can play it. And if you're lucky enough to have awesome dedicated fans like I have, you guys will go and do these things. You'll pre-save it, you'll download it, you'll do all that kind of stuff. You'll stay on the platforms, make the platforms happy, and then in return, the platforms reward me. It's totally simple. It's also kind of fucked up, but I would much rather be in this world where like it's my fans who control the algorithm much more than like the record label controlling how many millions of dollars they pump into making like a music video or getting me on MTV or getting you on the radio, all that payola crap. So it's so much better now. All right, 5 more minutes, guys. I'm drinking this because it looks like a hazy IPA, but it's just juice. I'm like, because it's like Easter week, I felt like I should just go on a cleanse and not drink any alcohol. But I kind of wanted to drink alcohol, so I'm just drinking pineapple juice with sparkling water in a beer glass because it looks like a hazy IPA. Will you be doing another live listening party and be on the Zebra show like last time? I had a blast that whole day. Awesome. Yeah, I should talk to the Space Zebra guys and see if they want to have me on next week, if they've got time for me. I would love to, of course. I don't think I want to do 2 streams one after another. I was really exhausted last time. It was like 3 a.m. Like by the time I finished with Space Zebra. We are absolutely 100% going to do an online release party next Friday, so on April 9th, to celebrate the release of Dead Zone. So be sure to, come back here and be ready for that. Have some drinks. I'm going to actually have drinks that are not pineapple juice that night. How old is he? Daniel, how old are you? I turned 38 last Monday on the 16th. I'm getting old. My question is, how is it possible to stay yourself? Don't listen to naysayers. Everybody's a naysayer. Everybody's going to tell you why what you're doing is wrong. Everybody's going to tell you why what you want to do is stupid, why your dreams are lame. Everybody's going to tell you why industrial pop is not a genre and you suck. And everybody's going to tell you that, that you can't sing, that you can't write songs, that you should just go back to making your whatever music you made 20 years ago. I don't know. You're just gonna be completely bombarded with people who will tell you that you can't and that you shouldn't and that you're dumb. That's gonna be your life. So just don't listen to them. Just surround yourself with positive people. Follow your artistic instincts. Stay humble. Stay self-aware. Know when you are making a mistake. Know when you are, not great at something. Know when it's time to switch directions, to pivot. Like, just because you've got a great idea doesn't mean the world is going to agree. And if the world doesn't agree, like in general, obviously you shouldn't listen to naysayers. But also, if you want to be a successful artist or business person or anything like that, if the world says this idea sucks, like in general, forever, well, then you should probably try something different. But make sure that what it is that you do that's different is something that you also like. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they're like, oh man, I'm trying to make, jazz black metal, and the world is just not hearing black, like it doesn't want it. Like, okay. Then they're going to be like, okay, well, the world wants post-punk, so now I'm going to make post-punk if that's not what you want to do. Don't do that. What you should do is take a look at what's going on in the world, in the zeitgeist, in the current moment. And if you're really smart, take a look at what's going on a couple of years ahead of time. Like, try to predict. Think about what about these things resonates with me? What do I like about these things? And how can I use them in my own work so that I'm creating something that I not only enjoy, but something that the world will resonate with? It's a much more complex idea than like selling out, right? Like selling out is just doing whatever you think that the world wants so you can be successful. being mindful of the zeitgeist and thinking about how your voice fits into the world is a much deeper idea and a much more complicated thing to do, because it requires like foresight and risk and all of that kind of stuff. But you got to do it. And this is true not just for art, it's true for business, it's true for like anything. Just keep your ear to the ground, stay humble, and don't give up. It's really about that. What does your Spotify stats look like? What do new listeners listen to? Personally, I think A Violent Emotion is my favorite album, but I greatly enjoy your newer stuff as well. Go to Spotify right now. Here, let's go to Spotify together. Oh, yeah. So, search aesthetic. Here we go. We're in Spotify. Number one song, SEX, 300,000 plays in less than 3 months. I mean, this is like insane. This is like this is like probably my biggest song ever. It's crazy. Gods and Gold, number 2. Automaton, these are the stats for the last 30 days. Automaton, number 3. The Ones, Spit It Out, Never Enough, LAX, Mr. Kitty Remix, Love Like Lies, Party Monster, Under Your Skin. Okay, so it's like 2 of those top 10 songs are from A Violent Emotion. The rest is just like a mixed bag. Single, Into the Black, single, Violent Emotion, Blood Spills, single, I'll Be Destroyed. So, yeah, it's great because the stats seem to demonstrate that, you know, people like my new stuff and they like my old stuff. They're probably not the same people. That's fine. I have no sort of illusions about people preferring or like loving everything that I do. That's just not going to happen, especially when you're like a constantly evolving artist person, whatever. People are just not going to love everything that you do. That's totally cool. Just like when you when you grow older and you learn and you change, like some friends, loved ones, whatever, come in and out of your life just because it's the way life is. But that does show me that I am doing something right in the sense that like sort of like paying attention to all of these things that I just discussed a minute ago, like that's working because people are resonating with these songs. Obviously, history is the only true judge of any of this. Like, I won't know if I'm a complete piece of shit until after I'm dead. So I guess I'll never find that out anyways. Greetings from Sounds and Shadows. Greetings back to Sounds and Shadows. Sounds and Shadows is a super fun Facebook group. I just discovered it a couple of weeks ago, but it's nice because you can sit around and like talk about all these things in a really sort of relaxed and like non-combative way. Unfortunately, so many discussions on Facebook are all like turn into screaming matches where people are just insulting one another. And Sounds and Shadows is great because you just have like, you know, a bunch of people from a bunch of different sort of pockets of the goth industrial scene, and they're just like talking about music and art and philosophy and all that kind of stuff, and it's great. And it very rarely gets lame and internety. So Sounds and Shadows, badass. I'm a Patreon member, but I don't check that regularly. Can I listen to Dead Zone now? No, the Dead Zone release party for Patreon supporters will be this Friday, and then I will send out the download link on Monday. All right, I'm going to power through these because it's getting late. Hey, Daniel, what is your biggest downfall or fear? My biggest fear is failure, and my biggest downfall is not trusting myself or my ego. I like how Daniel always ends these streams with wide philosophical answers. Yeah, it always starts out like super super, like, I don't know, it's kind of boring and standard. And then people ask me these questions and I go off on crazy tangents. Does Spotify give you more granular metrics like geographical popularity? Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's actually quite detailed. Oh, this little eyebrow thing bummed me out. Chances you might do an acoustic tour. I'm not even thinking about touring right now. I would love to do another Imperfect show, but right now, like all of my mental energy is focused on getting these singles out for the rest of the year. Hey, Daniel, guess most of us are here since A Violent Emotion. That is awesome. I'm so glad that you guys stuck around for so long. It has been a wild ride. We're already at like 13 years. Violent Emotion is 13 fucking years old. It's crazy, right? Surprisingly, I've enjoyed everything you put out. Thank you. That is very kind of you. Last thing, can we make Ticketmaster and Live Nation go fuck themselves when concerts come back because they're money hungry? Guys, everybody is money hungry. That is the way that the world works. Unfortunately, you have to play with unsavory people if you want to win the game. I'm sorry. We live in the world as it is and not as it ought to be. The world ought to be 100% fair. And equitable, and everybody should have great intentions, but they don't. Everybody is always looking out for themselves. Everybody is always looking to step on your neck to get to the next level. So just keep an eye out for yourself. Play the game. Play it as morally and responsibly as you can, but you got to play it because if you opt out, somebody else will, and you will not win. All right, guys. That was my super... yeah, I don't know. I that was a very hard truth for me to realize a few years ago. It's just, you want everything to be like right, but it's just not. All right. That's it. I just hear packet. What? Okay, now I got to say this. When I hear Dark Ages, I just hear packages. It's donkey jizz. That's what everybody hears is donkey jizz. Donkey jizz, donkey jizz. Donkey jizz, donkey jizz. Do. That's a great place to end it. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this fine Monday. Please do me an enormous favor. Go to the link that I just dropped in the chat. Presave, pre-order the new single. It will really, really make a difference. If we can get Dead Zone into the top of the alternative charts, we're going to stick it to the man. You ever wanted to stick it to the man? Let's stick it to the man by doing this. If we win a totally independent artist that nobody should even be paying attention to at all, I mean, come on, this would be magnificent. So, yes, do it for your old pal Daniel. If you don't have any money, obviously, please go to my Bandcamp. Take everything. It's all pay what you want. I just want to make sure that people get the music that they need. I know times are tough, and we're all struggling. So that's all I got. Guys, thank you so much. Take care.